Hello, my name is Father Frank Scalia, and I am the pastor here at Our Lady of Consolata Church, and I've been a priest for about 3 years. It's a little over 3 years now, and I have to say that it is a beautiful adventure to serve the people of God as a minister of God's sacraments and for the people. And so I can only say that, for myself, it is a fulfillment of the joy that I've always felt I've been called to live. It is a joy to serve the Lord and His people. And it is a way of proclaiming God's Word and of giving people, through God's Word and through His sacraments, the grace of hope, allowing people to come together and to have this encounter with the Lord by means of the church, by means of the community of the faithful, and to provide this for the people of God is very, very wonderful. It's a very joyful work. And so, with regards to my own vocation, I felt called quite a while ago when I was a child. That when I first perceived this calling to want to serve the Lord in this way, as His priest, as a minister for His church, and I was about in my early teens, and it was during the season of Lent, and it was such a wonderful experience through the sacrament of confession, and I understood that the Lord was asking me through the blessings of the sacrament to trust in Him, to put my focus on Him, and to let Him guide me where He wants me to go. And since then, it has been such an adventure, right up into the point of my ordination. It has been a journey of growth in faith, in trust in Him, and of great joy in wanting to see what the Lord wants to show me, where He wants to guide me, to be of service to His people and for the glory of His name. And that should always be the guiding light for all Christians, because we are all called, we all have a vocation, to be who God has created us to be, and to serve Him for not just our own salvation, but for the salvation of all people, in whatever calling that we all discern ourselves. But to discern a call to priesthood is also a very particular vocation, and it is a joy. As I mentioned, it is a great joy because we are helping to transmit the faith to future generations, beginning today. And while during my teenage years I was reflecting on it and understanding that I was a bit of a shy guy growing up, I always left the door open, even in moments where I was not entirely certain all the time. But that's part of the discernment process. Doubts do come in, and that's normal, and that's good, because it helps to refine our journey and to come out through it to understand better where the Lord wants to lead us. And so it was upon the death of my own grandfather that I felt a kind of a reconfirmation of this initial calling that I felt, the initial feeling of being called to serve the Lord as His priest. And I engaged myself in discerning ever more seriously. I made it more of a priority in coming into my young adult years. And then I finally entered the seminary. When I was about 30 years old, coming on about 10 years ago now. And that was also a wonderful, beautiful new stage of discernment, because in the seminary we continue our discernment, but accompanied by the church herself, so that the church can guide us and give us feedback on our growth towards that moment, should we be called to become ordained as a priest of the church. And I have to say that I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the church and about the challenges that we face as a people of God, but also about the opportunities that the Lord wants to bless us with, and that He gives us freely out of the abundance of His love, and that He calls us to seize upon the graces and the blessings that He has ready to give us, so that we can allow the Lord to shine through us all in the ways that He calls us, and to call us as for those of us who feel called to priesthood, to allow the Lord to shine through us in this particular way is a beautiful, beautiful way to live according to God's will for His people. And we can always be rest assured that the Lord blesses us 100-fold, because this truly is a life filled with much joy, much energy, and beautiful, beautiful memories that are made as we journey on in our lives. And so I ask you all to remember those who are called to priesthood, to remember to pray for those whom we may know, and also if there are those amongst you who may feel called yourselves, allow yourselves to be guided by the Lord. Allow Him to guide you. Ask for the Blessed Virgin Mary to guide you as well. Seek her counsel so that she leads you to her Son, and that you will be able to see His light shine upon your lives and see His calling all the more clearly. So as we are now embarking upon the month of October, a month that is usually and traditionally regarded by the Holy Church as the missionary month, where we place our focus on the missionary efforts of all the members of the church in spreading the joy of the gospel throughout the world, I would like to wish you all a wonderful, fruitful month. It is an extraordinary missionary month this year. And so we wish you God's blessings in your endeavors to spread this joy of the gospel. Thank you.